Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Writing Automation Scripts. Today, we're going to be refining our previous one just by choosing smarter ways to scrape. So, in this example, we're actually using their JavaScript example. And what you may do in real life is a little bit of investigation before you go straight jumping ahead and actually writing automations. And I'll show you what I mean by that in 1 second. What I tend to do is first check to see, is this data getting pulled by the server? Okay, so the easiest way to do that is by opening up your DevTools and checking the network tab. And if we refresh the page here, we can see that, I'll make it bigger. Um, the answer is no. Generally, you could check your fetch slash XHR requests to see if it's getting the data from the network. But in this case, we don't see anything. So that would lead me to believe that no, it's probably just being rendered in the page directly. So you could also view that right here, the viewing the page directly. But I think an easier way to do it will be right click and saying view page source. So now in here we see, oh, wait a minute. Right here it says there's this data, right? And here's all the data we want. And then it looks like actually inside of the JavaScript, they're actually just writing that straight to the screen. So I would see this and I would think to myself, score. This is going to save you a lot of time because basically you're going to see that we can pretty much get rid of all of this code. We no longer need to actually scrape it because the data is just right here in the source that is then rendered by my browser. So I'll show you what I mean here. So on this page, if I open up my network tab, or I'm sorry, the dev tools, and I come to console, I can type in window. Okay, and this is like your kind of global variables. And I see here this data, window.data, right? And this has all of that data that is being displayed on the screen here. Now, this is actually fairly common in websites. I'll probably give more examples as the series progresses, but this is a very good way of accessing the data and not having to scrape it directly off the screen. It's also going to be more robust, and you can see this is the exact data that is on like their backend that you probably want. So here you can see it's all formatted for us nice. It has like their name. It looks like there's a link here, right? Because if you click on this, it'll take you to a link. And then some other things. Looks like here's the tag array, right, from last time. And then the tag still looks like they're including quotation marks, but that's fine by us. And the reason I knew to type in window.data is because I saw here our data equals. This was probably window.data. And it's not perfect. You'll see there's a little finickiness to it that you kind of have to work around. But and some of it is reading like in here. It looks like, okay, they're looping through this data variable, and then they're putting it on the screen. So that's kind of how I knew to type in window.data here. So now to actually scrape this data, well, one thing you could do is just right click right in the console. You could copy the object, and then it's just in your clipboard that you could do whatever you want with this JSON. Another way you could do it is by using Microsoft Playwright here. So what we will do is we can remove all of this code, right? Because we don't need it anymore. Because this is just going to be an easier way of doing it. So I'm just going to hit backspace there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to grab this function right here. Okay, so this is sort of an example. What this does is basically it's going to evaluate this code inside the context of the browser. So it's going to take this document.location.href, right, which is this, and it's going to return this to our script here. So let's just do data is this, and we want it to return window.data. Okay, and then let's just console log that. So console.log that. And since this is a new URL, right, just for the demo, I'll update the URL as well. So let's run that. Okay, and finish running. So as you can see here in my terminal, there's all that data, just exactly as we want it. So now what I can do is we can basically just do, right, data.for each, let's just use a for loop, so it's I guess clearer here. Same as always, right? I is less than data.length, I plus plus, and it'll say const quote is equal to our data at the specific index. Now, if we look here, the tags is just as before. So we're going to do our records push tag. Oops, tags would be, let's make sure that's right. Okay, yep, tags. And that's going to be just tags. Those would be quote dot tags dot join again with our comma. Our quote will be, it looks like that's going to be text in this case. So this will be quote dot text. Oops, dot text. And then lastly, our author is going to be author dot name. I think is what we probably want. So it'll be quote dot author. Whoops. Dot name. Okay. And then we no longer need to console log this, right? We know that works. We're going to write it out. And yeah, we'll view that in 1 second. All right. So I just finished running it. It takes literally half a second to finish running. But here's that data. And then if we view it in the editor, it's the exact same before, except actually, I think, yeah, the quotes are still here. Author looks good. And then here are the tags just like before. So I guess this was just one way of demonstrating that. Just remember, there are many ways of scraping data off of a website. It doesn't always have to be choosing the element. You are able to open the dev tools and finick around and figure out what is the easiest way. This is one way of doing that, which would be evaluating JavaScript in the page. Yep. So thanks for watching. If you have any video ideas or feature requests for Automize, be sure to leave them in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.